Hello. I've just received a text message from Hank that says that he is running slightly late. So I apologize in advance for the fact that Hank is late. Hi. Oh, it's been a it's been a week. I guess they're all weeks now, you know? Like I guess I think today is the 1 year anniversary of the publication of Turtles All the Way Down, and I tweeted, which was a mistake, like by definition. I tweeted that it's been a slow, fast year, which it really has been for me since Turtles All the Way Down came out. But I mean, some years are slow faster than others. This has been an incredibly slow, fast year for me. Yeah. So anyway, I hope. Wait, can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. I'm a little worried that you can't hear me. Anyway, I am going to I'm going to answer your questions until what's his face comes. I can't remember his name. He's a nice kid. Very happy for Hank that his book is #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. There's a new bestseller list coming out today, though, and it probably won't be #1 again. Hopefully, if it could have a second week on the list, that would be amazing. It's very hard to get 2 weeks on the list these days with the hardcover fiction list, but we'll see. But I'm very happy for him and very, very, very proud. Yeah, don't tell him I said that, of course. Okay, let's answer the questions. Yeah. Okay, great. You can hear me. So I can't think of what else is going on. I've been working all morning on an Anthropocene Reviewed episode about Piggly Wiggly and pennies that I think will be the last. We have one more episode. The October episode is not part of our new relationship with WNYC, and then the November episode is. So I think the one that I'm writing now is going to be our last one that's like a solo, non-WNYC. Hi, Hank.
Hello.
Anthropocene Reviewed episode, and it's about pennies and Piggly Wiggly. Hank, how much do you know about the history of Piggly Wiggly?
I know that it is a grocery store.
So the history of Piggly Wiggly is insane.
I mean, naming a store Piggly Wiggly all on its own, it's just like it proves to me that branding doesn't actually matter.
Can I tell you the incredible story, just very briefly, not to spoil the Anthropocene Reviewed episode? Piggly Wiggly was founded by a guy named Clarence Saunders in Memphis, Tennessee, and when he was asked why he called it Piggly Wiggly, he would either answer with some like super weird soliloquy about how the cosmos can intervene inside of the human mind and produce genius, or else he would reply, "I named it Piggly Wiggly so that you would ask that question." And then, are you still there? I can't hear you. I can't hear you at all, but I can see your mouth moving.
Huh.
I can hear you now. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
So then he loses Piggly Wiggly because Elon Musk style, a bunch of people are shorting the stock because he has grown far too quickly and promised a lot of things that he can't deliver on. And then he loses control of the company in a short squeeze, trying to corner the market to mess with the people who are shorting the stock because he becomes obsessed with them, just like Elon Musk has done. And then he completely loses control of Piggly Wiggly. He tries to open a new grocery store. Piggly Wiggly says, "You can't open a new grocery store because your name is too closely associated with Piggly Wiggly for you to operate an independent grocery store." So he starts a new grocery store called the Clarence Saunders Sole Owner of My Name Grocery Store. It becomes wildly successful, and he uses the money that he's made from the grocery store to purchase a professional football team called the Clarence Saunders Sole Owner of My Name Tigers.
Are you serious?
Yes, the Clarence Saunders Sole Owner of My Name Tigers went on to play the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. They were an incredibly successful early professional football team. They were invited to join the NFL, but Clarence Saunders declined because he didn't want to play away games and share revenue with
What?
other teams.
Wow. Okay. What happened to Clarence Saunders stores? Like the Clarence Saunders stores. When he died, did they just like go and become owned by Piggly Wiggly?
Oh no, they did not last until he died, my friend. Clarence Saunders could not resist the urge to commit securities fraud.
Sounds like he's
So
not necessarily the best dude.
oh, he's a terrible person. So Clarence Saunders eventually he lost his second fortune, and then spent the last like 15 years of his life trying to make this fully automated grocery store called Key Doozle work that was like a huge 2,000 square foot like labyrinth of vending machines, basically. But before vending machines were a thing.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing, but it never worked. It was like Mark Twain's printing press, and then he died, impoverished. There's a great quote. So like he built two different he built like he built like a 36,000 square foot marble house that he had to abandon when he went bankrupt, and then when he made his second fortune, he built this like 200-acre estate in Memphis, both of which eventually became city museums or parks. And Ernie Pyle, the great journalist, wrote about Saunders. If Saunders lives long enough, Memphis will become the most beautiful city in the world, just with the things that he has built and lost.
I mean, isn't that the whole story of this point in capitalism, John?
Yeah. I mean, the Indianapolis Museum of Art is built on the estate of Eli Lilly. You know, I mean, almost every art museum is built on some rich guy's property.
Or it's definitely built with rich guys' property inside of the museum, if not outside of it.
That's a great point. It's all very troubling.
It's all very troubling, but thank goodness for Piggly Wiggly.
Okay, I'm glad I got to tell you some Piggly Wiggly stories. Tony says, John, it has been Hank, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I have a cold, so I don't know how a podcast is going to go, but we'll make it work.
You sound fine to me. I mean, we never sound that good. Don't worry. Tony says, John, it has been 1 year since Turtles All the Way Down was released. Looking back, how do you think about your other books on their 1 year anniversaries? That's an interesting question, and one that's maybe relevant for Hank, since he's only like 350 days away from a 1 year anniversary. Last night, when I realized it was going to be the 1 year anniversary of Turtles All the Way Down, I reread the review in the New York Times and a couple other things, and I just started crying because it's been a long year, and because I finished that book, and it was hard to finish it. And I was thinking about Marcus Zuzak, whose book Bridge of Clay just came out yesterday, and 13 years after The Book Thief came out. And you know, honestly, like it can be really hard to publish a book in the wake of a successful book. And I can only imagine how hard it was for Marcus. And I felt really relieved and grateful that the book is still finding people, and that it's finding the kind of people who I hope can benefit from it. So yeah, I felt really, really happy. At other times, I've felt different things. I don't remember the 1 year anniversary of Looking for Alaska, but you know, I had begun to feel a little unsettled, I think, by Alaska, and I think I'd probably begun to feel like, oh, I should have maybe written that book a little differently, because I never imagined that it was going to, you know, reach the kind of audience that it did.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones were mostly happy occasions. The 1 year anniversary of The Fault in Our Stars was especially memorable because Hank and I were playing Carnegie Hall, and it was a lot of fun.
Right. That wasn't the 1 year anniversary.
It was.
I thought it was the 5 year anniversary.
No, the 5 year anniversary was like 6 months ago.
You're right. A thing that I have been thinking is that I should be journaling or something during this time, because like I will forget it completely. And
yeah, you mean like because of like journaling about the socio-political experience, or journaling about the
no.
book publishing experience?
The book publishing experience. Just like, how do I feel about this, and like let myself be in the moment a little bit more, I
Yeah.
guess, than like
Yeah.
thinking about how am I gonna justify this, or like what's it gonna look like in a week, or what's it gonna look like in a year, and uh and 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 be like, you know, like what was this pretty unique experience like that most people don't get to have, and understand it, and what did I feel weird about, what did I like, what did I not like,
Mhm.
and be able to look back at it, because I know that I will forget all of it because it's just like too much is happening.
Right.
Or
I
definitely
mean,
definitely was during tour. It was just like,
yeah.
just so back to back things.
Yeah, I mean that's the way tours always are, though. Like
Yeah,
they're like a series of impressions with almost no memories.
yeah,
Um, it's funny because this tour, I felt like I enjoyed it in a way, like I enjoyed it purely in a way that I've never been able to enjoy a tour before. And I don't know if that's because my health is uh mentally reasonably sorted at the moment, or if it was because it wasn't my book, probably a combination of the two.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but I loved it, and I don't have any memories, but I loved being in all of those moments, and I wasn't tired until the last day, and like that is a
yeah,
really that's what I think that's what makes it sustainable is when you don't feel tired. But
yeah.
I do have some really good memories of touring. I have some really good memories of the Carnegie Hall night. I have a great memory for some reason of a show we did in Scotland,
Yeah, that was fun.
where we sang 500 miles and we could not be heard above the
Yeah,
din of the
yeah,
crowd
yeah.
singing 500 miles back to us. And they all sounded so Scottish in their singing of it.
Yeah, and they give us a bunch of food that I ate too much of, that I
Oh,
felt bad.
they did give us food and I
And
destroyed
they
it.
gave us Iron Brews, and
Yeah.
I drank it, and it made my stomach hurt a lot.
Oh yeah, me too. God, I can remember the feeling of that
That was
stomach
such
ache
it
better
was
than
like
anything.
that building was like a I feel like it was like it was a converted, like it was part of a train museum. Am I
No, that
thinking?
was
Oh, that was
Swindon.
Swindon. That was
Yeah.
Swindon.
That was a great. The Swindon show was great too. What the? Why did we launch our UK tour in Swindon?
That was you,
It's,
John, not me.
it's
That was
still very
definitely your
funny.
call.
I still think it's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we've. My point is that it is difficult to make those memories, but the ones that I have are
Right.
lovely. Um, how is the last like? How has it been since you got home from tour? Has it been different at all?
I've been sick the whole time.
Yeah,
So it's kind of sucked. Did get to take a little bit of a break, and now I'm back into the work thing.
yeah,
And I'm just fairly sleepy, and
yeah.
I want to sleep for like 10 hours, and I haven't got a chance to yet.
Yeah. How does it feel like things are stabilizing or normalizing, or does it still feel like a lot of your consciousness time is taken up thinking about the book?
I think a lot of my consciousness time is taken up thinking about the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still. Um,
Yep.
and the list comes out today, so that is something I'm thinking about.
Yeah. We just talked about that. We don't think it's a problem if you fall off the list.
Who's we?
The people in the chat and me, we
Okay,
think
up to
that
that.
you did the job. You not only did you make the list, you were number one. The job
Right.
is over.
The job occurred. Yep.
Things that they can
Easy for you to say full year on the list.
actually
Dream.
probably not. This is probably the week. It's the 52nd week, and it looks like I'm going to fall
Oh
off.
no.
I'll be back.
Everybody go buy a book.
No,
Oh, actually.
no. I'll be back because the 60 Minutes piece. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
sold a lot of books. I had forgotten how useful it is from a book selling perspective to be on television. um, it's very helpful.
Yeah.
uh, so somebody okay. So I want to ask some questions. Uh, Yeah, all of which are good. There's a lot of questions. Hank, this is a small one from
Hmm.
Lorena. How do you deal with the threat of fascism? I think Lorena might be in Brazil.
Yeah. I don't know.
I also don't know, and I am scared too, and I don't know. I I mean, I think you have to hope that the political institutions look. This is the same thing that anybody in a democracy hopes. You hope that the political institutions are strong enough and that there are enough people who will fight to preserve them,
Yeah.
that shifts in who is president or what party is in leadership do not undermine the fundamental institutions of the country and allow you to uh, allow for changes in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is hard in a place like Brazil has gone through a lot of transition lately.
Yeah, and also it doesn't have, the institutions are not as well established.
Yeah, it is a young democracy for sure, and yeah, and I've been following it, more than the average American, but not very much, and my Brazilian friends on Twitter are rightly concerned, and it does look, somewhat familiar on a global scale right now with new, far right kinds of uh, like not super enthusiastic about democracy or the free press kinds of leaders getting a lot of attention and getting a lot of appreciation from people. And, it feels like that's maybe a lesson that we have unlearned over the last 50 years. And I don't want to learn it again.
Yeah, it tends not to get learned painlessly, that's for sure. Um, yeah, so I don't know that we can offer anything other than commiseration. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, and I share your worry. Caleb asks, why can't Anthropocene reviewed episodes have 0 stars? I dislike that malaria got any. Well, Caleb, one of the ongoing jokes in my mind about the Anthropocene reviewed is that nothing has received 5 stars, and that 1 star is the lowest rating you can get. I always thought it was funny because the reason for that is because, like, when I was a kid and there was a movie reviewer for the Orlando Sentinel. And I remember that no matter how much the movie reviewer hated a movie, the movie would always get 1 star. And I always thought that was so funny, like a movie reviewer like just absolutely eviscerating something, but still having to be like, it still gets a star. It's like when you're in elementary school and like your teacher gives you a star and you're like, oh, that's good. And you're like, no, it's the worst thing you can possibly get. You see, you wanted 5 of these. Yeah, I don't know. It's a joke in my head. When you spend a lot of time on something, you have to invent a lot of jokes in your head. Hey Hank.
Yep.
Did we do a beer and board games this year? We did not, unfortunately. But
no, we did not.
Hank did just hang out with. Didn't you? Did you meet up with Aaron?
I did. I did an interview with Hal Thompson, who.
There you go.
Who is, he and Aaron are related in that they occupy the same body,
right?
Not the same person. Mm-hmm. And the interview with Hal went very well, and I watched it and laughed a bunch. And you can check it out on Blame Society Films on YouTube. He's very good at interviewing authors. He has a number of other very good author interviews that I suggest you watch as well.
Yeah, he's very good. Mark Twain had a printing press. What? Oh yeah, Mark Twain went broke trying to make a new kind of printing press work. He devoted all of his creative and fiscal energies to supporting this printing press inventor who was going to make a movable type machine that was going to revolutionize everything, and that totally failed. And then he went broke and had to go on a worldwide reading tour. So anyway, look for.
Yeah, well,
I've often thought, man, I've just got to get into a place where if I go broke, I can go on a worldwide reading tour to get it all back.
I mean, it makes me think of so many people, including myself, who have thought, I succeeded at a previous thing, I can succeed at anything.
Oh, exactly. There is nothing more dangerous than having succeeded once.
Possibly having succeeded twice,
right?
Which really makes you feel invincible.
Yeah. No, Bill Gates has a good line about that, about how people, like, it's like a delusion. You begin to believe that like the universe must be tilted in your direction.
Yeah, you have something special, and it's inside of me.
Right, and
other
only
people don't have it.
Yes, and that is dead wrong. And then you find out that it's dead wrong when you're like, I shall host a gathering at the top of a mountain of 200,000 souls, and if it and Drake shall be there. And then like when it doesn't happen, you're like, wait, what? Why didn't that work?
How couldn't I manifest Drake? Turns out Drake has free will. And
yeah. How did I fail to manifest Drake? That's a great question.
Yeah. Well, and my version of that was NerdCon Stories, which I don't regret.
No, NerdCon Stories is great. It just lost a bunch of money. But like, I guess maybe that's
some people buy boats. I bought a fun weekend.
My favorite thing about the fun weekend that you bought was that you weren't able to attend because your child was being born. So you really just bought me a fun weekend.
I was there. Was I not there?
No, not for the last one.
What?
You weren't there. You bought me a fun weekend, and I tell you what, I had a great time. My back hurt, but I had a wonderful time. Are
you for real?
Yeah, I'm totally for real. You didn't go.
I'm terrible at my own life. Just the story of my life. I cannot remember it correctly.
It's true. It's true. Catherine, how do you decide to stop being friends with someone? Ah, oh, God, Catherine, I wish I was better at it. Mostly, I just stop attending anything that person might be at. I don't think that's a good strategy, though.
Yeah, that's hard in my town.
Well, I just mostly, yeah. I mean, I go to my garden and to work.
I have. There are some people in my town that I don't love to see, and then I just see them anyway.
Tilda says, I saw you guys in New York exactly a year ago for the Turtles All the Way Down tour, and I can't believe it's been a year. I can't believe it either. How is all of this still happening? Like, how is Twitter still happening? What? Thoughts on Taylor Swift? I mean, I've always been in favor of Taylor Swift, and I continue to be in favor of Taylor Swift, and I will apologize for my Taylor Swift affection never.
Well, I mean, never say never.
No, because I'm allowed to love someone. I'm allowed to be a fan of someone in a moment, even if later they disappoint me. Like, I don't find.
Yeah, you don't have to apologize for your current Taylor Swift fandom, but maybe in the future you could be like, yeah.
No.
I'm trying. So, John, this is just inside of this room. Don't take this outside of this room.
Everybody. Sure, yeah. Let's say it in a public space. That's a great idea.
That's what I mean. The people in the chat. So I'm currently working on a brand deal.
Are you really?
I am, and when you do a brand deal, there's a morality clause, and it says like we can sever ties with you if like you do illegal stuff or if you act in a way that it like or if there's moral turpitude. And so I looked up what moral turpitude was, and it's basically like acting in a way that is out of concert with society's expectations, kind of. So it's not like any like actual framework. It's just like if you act outside of what is like allowed by society, then they can sever the contract with you. And so I am attempting to put in a morality clause for them as well. So that I can exit the contract if they act in a way that is outside of what would normally be expected by society. I've never heard of anyone trying to do this. I imagine that it's not going to fly.
It's not going to fly.
But I really I feel like, hey, look, I'm putting my reputation on the line too. And if it turns out that like you guys suck, I want to be able to, I want an out.
Right. I love it. I mean, listen, I think it's great. I don't think there's any way they're going to agree to it. I think it's great, though. And I think, like, we've been reminded this week with all of the stuff that's happening with whatever that. Yeah. That, you know, in a way, when a YouTuber or anybody, you know, advertises for something, they're putting their own self on the line too. And I'm a little bit uncomfortable with that, I have to say. I mean, it's a little hard because the incentives for BetterHelp seem to have been so insane. Like if the numbers I've seen posted are true, then like the number of dollars people were getting per sign up were crazy high.
Yep.
And so that makes you really incentivized to be heavily positive about a brand. But even if it's a small deal, like you're still incentivized to be positive about it. And like, what if it ends up being a disappointment to you or to its customers? It's hard to know how to deal with that other than just not doing brand deals, which of course is not sustainable for 99% of creators.
Yeah. Yeah. The fear has always been like, especially working with companies that don't necessarily have a lot of brand penetration, that like the only thing people will have heard about this product is like that Hank Green endorses it and that it did this
Right.
bad thing.
Right. Right.
And then me not and me not being able to say a bad thing about the product and because like I'm in a contract that says I can't.
Right. Right. It's not exactly. It's not like being sponsored by Nike, you
Yeah.
know, where like it's a well enough established brand that nobody's going to be like Serena Williams.
Mhm.
What are you doing?
Why did you take money from Nike?
Yeah, like they'd have to talk to a lot of people about taking money from Nike, not just
Yeah.
one individual.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question about this brand deal because I don't want to know who it's with. I've got a suspicion, but I don't know for sure. Here's my question about the brand deal. Are you going to be in television advertisements?
No.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, I know.
That's disappointing. Why aren't they putting you on TV?
I think that, you know, you start where you start and then like see what happens.
Have you talked to our shared Hollywood agent about being an actor in TV commercials? Because those you get paid a I don't like to curse.
I live in Missoula, Montana. I can't go film a commercial.
I
have to
can.
get on a plane.
I can. I would go film. I would. Yeah, I can. I think I like money more than you do. Anyway, I'm excited for your brand deal. I hope that it is as lucrative as a TV commercial would be because you deserve a lot of money for your love of certain brands. And also, if you can get that, does that mean that I can get what I want, which is a brand deal with Diet Dr. Pepper?
I don't know, John. Where is it? I don't know if you're hustling enough.
Clearly not. Yeah.
Not enough to hustle. You might also not be like a ambassador that Dr. Pepper is like looking for. Who are the current Dr. Pepper brand ambassadors?
It's Lil Sweet, a
right.
prince-like character who is 3 feet tall. It is the stupidest. I mean, I love the Dr. Pepper Snapple Company. I think they're doing amazing work, but getting people diabetes around the world. Lil Sweet is the stupidest advertising campaign, and it's been going on for like 5 years. It's so bad. And I would also take, by the way, money from Sharpie.
Lil Sweet.
Lil Sweet. Yeah, it's very bad. It's so very poor.
He's a normal sized man. They've just made him small digitally.
You mean the actor?
Yeah.
Yes, the actor is who knows? The actor is not I don't know much about the actor's life.
I gotta find out about Lil Sweet now. I thought his name was Will Sweet, and I thought it was
Lil Sweet. It's such a bad campaign. It is not working. And like having Diet Dr. Pepper on Twitter only respond as Lil Sweet is such a bad strategy. Like Diet Dr. Pepper could freaking crush it on social media if they didn't have to be Lil Sweet all the time.
Lil Sweet has been in some various things. His name is Justin Guarini. He was a runner-up on the first season of American Idol.
Wait, Lil Sweet is Justin from American Idol?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
No. Oh, it is. Oh my God, he's so much older.
It's wow. There he is.
Oh, okay. In that case, let's continue it forever because I feel like Justin was great on American Idol, and I feel like he never achieved the success I wanted him to. So that's fine. He's a little sweet. He's doing great. I'm into it. I'm down. Forget it. I cancel it. I don't want to deal with Diet Dr. Pepper. I want a brand deal. You know who I want a brand deal with, Hank?
Well, who?
God.
I'm getting my Twitter fingers ready. My brother John Green.
Oh, it's the one that my doctor recommended to me. God, what is it called? Miralax.
Oh,
It's called Miralax.
I think
I want to
Miralax
brand you. I want to
is
brand you with
also-
Miralax. I
I
want to
think
be in direct competition with you.
Well, I think Miralax is owned by the same company as Indeed it is.
Are you serious?
Wait, no.
It can't be. Isn't that a violation of American antitrust laws?
Those don't exist anymore, John.
Oh, okay. We have to go. We've gone too long. We're over our time. We have to be recording the podcast now.
How does that? Of course that.
Sorry for not answering any of your questions and going on a bunch of weird rants, but can't wait for my brand deal with Metamucil. I mean, Miralax. God, I don't even know the name of it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to pretend to have been a lifelong consumer of this life-changing powder.
Oh, it turns out Miralax is owned by Bayer, and they are direct competitors with Procter and Gamble.
Here we go.
We could be in a serious digestive supplement fight.
All right. Thanks for subscribing to the Patreon, guys. Goodbye.
Goodbye.